All right, are we live and in person? Are we good to go? Are we live and going? What do you think, Arturo? Are we on?
We are on.
We are
We
on.
have
Excellent.
people
All right.
rolling in.
It is it is 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're going to do a webinar. And this is going to be a continual practice of RentWerx to go through some fun stuff, go through some numbers, kind of give a market update to what's going on in the world. And we plan on doing this every other month just to keep our clients informed of what's going on in the world. And to kick this off, we're going to keep this kind of on a light factor. And I was in the pre-show, the pre-game, I was poking Melanie and Myranda and say, all right, guys, I'm going to make you talk on this on a special subject. And the subject is you got to name something positive that's happened to you this year, something personal, something positive, because we just can't start off a webinar with just like diving in and talking about boring numbers and boring stuff. You know, we want to hear about what's going on with the staff. So we're going to go in alphabetical order. Myranda, Melanie, boy, I got to maybe take off my gloves and shoes to figure out who gets first. So Melanie, I guess you're first because you are alphabetically first. So having said that, Melanie, give me something positive and fun that's happened to you on the personal side this year.
Positive and fun on the personal side this year. I have purchased a new Frenchie for my almost 3-year-old to grow up with and hopefully train and help me manage the day-to-day activities of a new puppy. So that is what we have. Wish us luck.
Oh, the new puppy. Yeah,
Oh,
I,
cute.
that brings up a good story. You guys remember we just adopted a puppy late last fall. It was a rescue German short-haired pointer, female, and she is a ball of fire. We took her to training for like 3 weeks, and the trainer said she's a force of nature. So that is our Lucy, and she's been fun and entertaining. In fact, I usually have to lock the door, otherwise she comes barging in here and jumps on me. But yeah, that's the fun thing for us on the dog side. Myranda, what do you got going on this year?
So I got the pleasure of styling a short-term rental, which I love doing. And so I styled this, and we just got, they just received like a notice that they're going to have a wedding at this house. So this home that I styled is now going to be a place that somebody gets married. And so I thought that was so cool.
Oh, very neat, very neat. So on my side, recently in the last 6 months, a year, my son Drake, who's 17, has gotten into some shooting events with me, and we like to go shooting and do stuff like that. Just long rifles and short rifles and stuff to do with your son. And he's taken to it like I can't believe. So great example. We did a contest last weekend, and it was cold and rainy. And it was 37 degrees and rain in South Texas, and he handled it like a trooper. I was very impressed. I mean, this is just a high school kid. I wouldn't expect a lot out of him, but he handled it, didn't complain, and just kept going forward. Okay, enough of the chit chat. Let's get off with this, guys. Let's get going because I hate to start off a webinar with just diving into everything that we want to talk about because not everybody can make it right at the perfect start time that we are at. So we're now into it. And so I got to give you our brief introductions and welcomes. I am Brad Larsen. I am the real estate broker and owner of RentWerx. I'm not the broker, I'm a broker. You just heard from Melanie Thomas earlier. She is our broker of record and CEO. And then also Myranda, she is our business development person, our business development manager. And she's out there talking to owners and walking them through what we do as a property management company and helping them sign up and get right into production and get their home leased and everything else. So these two key players are going to help in this particular webinar. I'm going to turn it over to Myranda at some point, and we're going to go through the blanket portal, which is the owner's portal. And it's actually a really neat tool that we offer to our owners. We think it's pretty cool, but there's always some things that could be improved on. Melanie and I have been like beating up the vendor pretty good about making some improvements because we feel there's areas that might need something. Overall, it's fantastic. We feel it's a great window into the performance of your property because at the end of the day, anytime you own a home and you want us to manage it, it is just like any other financial asset. We take that very seriously and wanted to go through some numbers with you. So we were compiling some numbers before the show started, and this is all RentWerx stuff in the last year, 2025. And we're here 26 February, 2025. So our average days on market right now has been 64. Now that average sounds high, but we're talking homes that take 90 days to lease and homes that take 30 days to lease. And that's an average because right now we've leased 51 homes already this year. That's pretty close to about one per calendar day. So the average 64 days on market is actually a little bit better than the market average. Rentals have slowed down a little bit over the winter. This is nothing new, gang. We've seen this every single year. It's funny how we talk about this in November. We're all like freaking out, like none of the homes are renting. What's going on? And we always got to remember, oh yeah, Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, Christmas. Things slow down. Things never move as quickly as we want them. But we're ramping up to get into the spring season. Already it's 80 degrees here in South Texas, so spring always comes early. Some other fun stats is our eviction rate is down below 0.5%. We're actually at a 0.47% eviction rate. So I've always said that a good property manager will take a marginal tenant and turn them into a fantastic tenant. And how do we do that? Zero tolerance rent collection. In addition to, I want to define eviction for everybody. So eviction is when we actually have to file a writ of possession, show up to their property, and physically, forcibly evict them with a constable present. Constable being a fancy term for sheriff, county sheriff. So the eviction process as we go through it is we put out notices to vacate. And let's say for fun, we send out 30 notices to vacate every month. Obviously, a lot of those tenants are shocked, surprised, confused. They call us up, they show up that day or the next day with a certified check. They apologize for being late. For whatever reason, they missed a payment. You know, we've all done it. Once the notice to vacate hits, that typically wakes them up pretty good. Then they come in and pay. But typically that list boils down to almost maybe 1 to 2 actually evictions being filed per month. 1 to 2 evictions filed. And that's not considered an eviction in our opinion yet. Once we get the eviction filed, we potentially have a court date. If they haven't paid or brought current by that point, if they haven't paid and brought current, we go to court, we attend court, we get a writ of possession from that judgment. And it's pretty funny. We talked about this the other day, Myranda, at the BizDev seminar. You know, it depends on which judge you get in front of, right? The rookie judges are like, they want to hear your story. Okay. Why did you not pay rent? And the tenant will tell them, well, my dog ate my homework. My sister showed up late for school. I mean, just all kinds of craziness. And the rookie judges are kind of funny. They'll actually sit there and listen to you. Okay, tell me more about how you forgot to pay rent. The experienced, jaded, old judges that have been there for a while, they ask 2 questions. Did you pay rent? Yes or no? And if it's a no, they're like, great, judgment done, get out of my court. And I know I'm simplifying it and it's kind of comical in that way, but it just depends on what's going on in your situation. So making a point that eviction is not actually become an eviction until we have to file the writ of possession with a judgment executed. So our eviction rate is 0.47. Sorry, Stacy, don't yell at me. 0.47%. Our monthly rent roll, 1.3 million coming in and out for rent. That's a lot. That's quite a few. How many work orders that we do per day? These are great stats. I made the team come up with these as we were on the call because we had to do a bunch of math. You take the number of stats that we've had this year, divided by number of days. The number of work orders that we take in per day is roughly 19 to 20 work orders per day for maintenance. In addition to, we take typically 100 to 150 inbound phone calls per day. And those are averages that we see through our Zoom phone lines. And so it just kind of goes to show you that this is what we're here for. We're here to take those phone calls. We're here to execute those work orders on your behalf. Here's some fun stuff. Our tenant satisfaction rate inside of Property Meld. Recently, we have a 4.0 out of 5. That's actually in the industry pretty good because it's very difficult to make a tenant 100% happy every single time. I mean, imagine that. They contact you on a Sunday afternoon and they want their something fixed today. Okay, we're going to get out there within a few days. A stat that kind of blew me away, Melanie pulled up, is it takes 8 messages back and forth for us to execute a work order inside of Property Meld, which is our maintenance coordination software. 8 messages, ping pong, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I can be there too. Okay, I can't be there too. I can be there at 1. Okay, I can't be there at 1. Can you be there tomorrow at 3? It just it's like the back and forth ping pong tennis that has to happen to make these work orders fly. So that's pretty neat. And the average work order right now is being executed within 7 days. And that seems like a lot when you look at it, but not every work order takes, is a 4-alarm fire, okay, where we drop everything and we go execute the work order. So if they submit something that's more on the cosmetic side, obviously we're waiting a little bit, trying to bundle it potentially if they have something else going on. Some work orders stay around for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. There's no potential rush on some things, okay? Other things, we drop everything and get done. HVAC, plumbing leaks, etc. So you take the averages, that's actually about right. So that's something that we typically see. And the point of all that is to show you that we are tracking all these metrics. And all of this helps us to increase our performance in helping you manage your home. So that's kind of some fun stuff. Good job on digging those numbers up, gang. That was really good. So let's talk about some of the market trends and market overviews. So this is interesting because here we are post-election. We see the triangle in Texas, which is Dallas to Houston to San Antonio to Austin to Fort Worth. That big triangle has roughly 27 million plus people in it. Everybody's moving to Texas. It seems like we're gaining in 100 to 200 residents per day on average here in the San Austin metro. And if you haven't been around me long enough or heard me speak at all, I kind of refer to what we do as the San Austin metro because we manage homes in San Antonio all the way up into North Austin. So, and the two markets are growing together so much. Everything up and down the 35 corridor, it just seems to be glomming together. You have New Braunfels, you have San Marcos, you have Buda, you have Kyle, you have Schertz-Cibolo in that area. They're all just kind of growing together into one, which makes it a very powerful marketplace. So the San Austin market is kind of how I tend to refer to it. On the sales side, the single family homes right now. So Melanie, this is something that we got to look at. Rental market dynamics. You've got here as average days on market 83. Now, did you collect that from the MLS? So that's the single family home rental data is 83 days on market.
Yes, that came out from SABOR, San Antonio Board of Realtors. They put that out every month. And I look at that just to kind of see where we match up against that.
Okay, circling back to make a point. I'm glad I clarified that because the average days on market for the rest of the property management companies in town is 83, in town being San Austin, and ours is 64, 63. So we're roughly almost 3 weeks faster than the average days on market here in the marketplace. So that's a good point. And how do we do it? Well, good quality photos, good quality video. We are responsive, we take phone calls, and we do self-assisted unaccompanied showings, which is a huge technique in this market. Nobody wants to wait around for a realtor to show them the property. So we have a system down to a science that we perfected through COVID, where we do touchless unaccompanied showings to let people visit a home without having to wait for somebody to open the door for them. We get a license, we get an email, we get a phone number, we verify all that. We do facial recognition. We use a software company called Tenant Turner, and they turn out to be a great system. We've been doing this for years. And no refrigerators go missing, no washer dryers go missing. You know, yeah, once in a while they leave lights on, but so do realtors. Okay, we do our absolute best, and this is the cleanest and safest way to actually get your home rented as this technique. So that was a really cool stat, and the average rented price is right about the same as what we have, a little bit lower. Ours is 1878, and the average in the market was 1861. Obviously, you're going to have condos and townhomes in there as well. They get worse. Condos take longer, and multifamily is actually taking longer at 98 days. So that tells you that single family homes are extremely hot. In our market area right now, I wouldn't call multifamily built out or overbuilt, but it certainly seems like that. Drive around the city a little bit, drive around the north side of San Antonio, and you see nothing but brand new apartment complexes. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. We need apartments, okay? We need affordable housing, as they call it. You know, the homes, a lot of times they get to be, obviously the average home is 1878. So that could be the average 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home. A lot of people can't afford that. They still need the $800, $900, $1,000 apartment complex, single family, the single unit homes. So that's good stuff. I always like to see that stat because if you saw the multifamily switch, that would be a big thing. Like that would say the single family homes are overpriced, but clearly they're not because they're renting faster than the average on the multifamilies. All right, so let's get into some of these other questions. Now, Stacy, I loved your frequently asked questions because this is going to be a good time for us to discuss this. And she likes to hide in the background, but we're going to make her talk maybe a little bit. Before I get into that though, I do need to introduce Myranda, and I want her to give us a few minutes on the blanket owners portal. And I'm sure to all of your relief, I will shut up for a couple minutes finally and let Myranda speak. Go ahead, Myranda.
Hi, everyone. I am the Business Development Manager here at RentWerx. And yes, I want to share with you about a blanket dashboard. So I'm going to share my screen just so you can have a little bit of insight there. So our goal at RentWerx is always going to be to empower our owners with data. And that's exactly what this dashboard does. You know, we work with a lot of investors, yes, but we also work with, you know, those accidental landlords that, you know, we are military city. So maybe you were in the military and got stationed elsewhere. And so now you decided to put your house up for rent or whatever the case may be. But you never done this before and you thought, let me give it a try. So we have this dashboard where we put in all of your information. And it'll calculate everything for you. So it's really, really great because you can see your property's performance at a glance. You're able to see your monthly expenses and your net operating income and then your net cash flow. And so you're really getting a good idea of what it actually is costing you to own this home, the amount of money you're making, and then your total equity that you have in the home. So it's a really great place to track everything, you know, regarding your property. And another great aspect of this dashboard is that there is a marketplace that you get access to within this, and that marketplace gives you access to homes that are not necessarily on the market. Some of them already have tenants in place. And so if you're looking to grow your portfolio, you can go ahead and look at your dashboard and see what your current home is doing. Do you have equity from this home that maybe you can use to buy another home? You know, you get to analyze all of that with the data that's provided for you, and make those educated decisions as to what to do moving forward. So I really like that. I think it's a great tool, and I think all of our owners should be utilizing it. If you're not and you would love to utilize it or have questions about it, feel free to reach out to us. We can walk you through it. And Melanie is so great. She's done really good deep dives on this, and she can walk you through all of those things. You know, if your goal is to grow your portfolio, which I always encourage, we offer great when you have like multiple homes that we manage, you get great discounts there. So if that's your goal, we can help you with that. And then you get discounts, you know, which, you know, overall, you're just gaining wealth there. So I think this is a really good tool. People should definitely utilize it. If you're a part of our under our management, you know, please reach out to us and we can help you walk you through this.
Yeah, and again, if I can just piggyback off you, Myranda, I have spoken to a lot of our owners, emailed, called, text. So if I haven't spoken to you about our blanket software, I do invite you to either call me at the office. The number is 210-497-8686, or give me an email, shoot me an email at melanie@rentwerx.com, and I'm happy to discuss your portfolio and how it's performing, what your cash flow is, and just all the metrics that are behind a successful investor investing in property management. So that's all I got.
Great
Back to
stuff,
you.
you two. Appreciate that. So in between the lines, a couple things there. Miranda, go ahead and stop sharing that screen. So in between the lines, what those metrics never capture, and I talk to sellers and owners and buyers and investors all the time about this, is it never quite captures the appreciation and the depreciation perfectly. And those are two magical squishy numbers that really make real estate worthwhile. The appreciation, obviously, you can sort of project 3%, 5%, 50%, but you never quite know. I will tell you this, San Antonio has been a very, very steady market. Austin's been even better. Austin now is going through a little bit of a correction, so I'd have to retract that just a little bit. But for the most part, you're always going to see an upward tick. And the one that's even really more difficult to describe and hone in on is depreciation, because you just don't really understand what the depreciation can do for your property taxes along with your individual tax situation. And that's you can take those off in 1 year if you wanted to. You can do a fast forward depreciation amount. Talk to your CPAs about this, but you have to understand that those numbers combined, because you have the property's going up, the mortgage is going down, and in between, that's your spread, and that's going to be eventually getting bigger. So it ties right into Stacy asking questions. Great job, Stacy. Is 2025 a good time to buy, sell, or hold onto properties? It's rough right now, gang. Selling homes right now, as I'm doing for RentWerx, has not been easy. Not everything is selling that you would think it would. I've seen really good rental properties come up and they haven't sold, or they take a little bit longer than you'd like to sell, and they're not getting the top dollar. And I don't say that to discourage you from potentially selling. If you want to sell the property that RentWerx manages, or you have other properties that you want us to sell, we're happy to do it. You'll be working with me personally. So on the side of that, though, is when everybody's selling, it's not a bad time to be buying. And that should be a consideration for you as well. If you are looking to get into the investment market, now is a good time because it's not the greatest time to be selling. If there are homes on the market that are retail level, that look good for you as far as a rental investment, that meet that good criteria, those are fantastic properties to get into. And I think they'll always do well, especially with a property management company like us that can manage it and make sure that it performs how you would expect. So those things are, I always get asked, like, what's my formula? What types of real estate investments do I like? I like the single family homes. Duh. That's why we have a single family home property management company, correct? If I thought multifamily was awesome, we'd be doing it. Commercial is all over the place. And I don't mind short term. Short term's okay, but it takes a lot of money to set up a short term rental. And you are at the whim of the city council, the state, the local government to make one little policy and they put you out of business. Now, I think in the San Austin region, we've been solidified to this point. So what's out there is out there. There was a trend for a while to tax the short-term rentals, to ban the short-term rentals, but I think we've gotten through all that point. So I think we've solidified what we have now with legislation, government regulation to this point to where anytime you wanted to get a short-term rental, it's okay. But understand to make sure you have the furniture, the sheets, the dishes, the silverware, the coffee maker. I mean, you're talking $10,000 to $12,000. Myranda would tell you she's getting into this. She's shaking her head north and south. So she understands that. In addition to the short-term rentals are very, boy, they're tough, meaning that you have to be Johnny on the spot. You have to be a concierge. You have to take those phone calls on a Sunday. Whereas the long-term rentals, I really are set and forget. We have owners that we never talk to because they're deployed, they're overseas, they're in a different time zone. They don't even speak English per se. And we have owners that allow us to manage our home from start to finish, all the way top to bottom. We have other owners that want to have more touches. They want to understand more about what we're doing with the home, who we're approving for lease agreements, what kind of vendors we're sending there for repairs. So it's all over the board as far as the level of service that we provide. So we see kind of everything. Now, back to this, I firmly believe single family homes is one of the best vehicles of investment. It's been historically solid, and it looks to be historically solid just because of one thing. What's the population doing in Texas? Just put that in your head. What is the population doing in Texas? It's going sky high. Everyone has to have a place to live. Now, multifamily has never been really that popular with me. A gentleman named Grant Cardone ruined it for the entire world. Okay, you've heard me talk about this before, Melanie. She's smiling, but that guy, Grant Cardone, hey, I wish I was him, right? He's multi-millionaire, but he basically told everybody to go out and buy multifamily. When everybody went out and bought multifamily, the cap rates plummeted through the basement, and the prices of these multifamily units skyrocketed, and it just made it not worthwhile. He always said, go get a big, get 10 people together and pool your money and go buy a multifamily unit. Okay, well, and there's 20 groups doing it and they're all bidding for the same multifamily unit. That hurts you. That just raises the price. Yeah, you can do one big deal and make one big chunk, but that's very risky, right? There is a style called diversification. And if you have single family homes kind of throughout a market or several markets, which is another thing Blanket can do, Myranda, and you've heard me talk about this before, is that they can also assist our investors to buy another home in other markets.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to buy, please spend a couple minutes on that if you could.
Yeah, I mean, no, that marketplace isn't just to San Antonio or the surrounding areas. It's all over the country. So again, a lot of these homes were at one point rentals, and for whatever reason, these people are giving them up, and they have tenants in place. So it's a really easy thing that you could potentially pick up. And because they're off market as well, you're not necessarily going up against a bunch of people. So it's a really good tool to utilize and look at.
Yep. Great stuff there. One of the last topics I want to get to is another good question by Stacy. How can homeowners increase their property value in the current market? And are there specific home upgrades or renovations that offer the best ROI? Great question. We've been fielding that question for a dozen plus years. And what would a homeowner do to potentially increase the value of their property? And this is straight straight valuing, straight mirroring the National Association of Realtors numbers, anytime you put $1 into a kitchen or $1 into a master bath, you can expect $1 plus in return. Okay, that's one thing. Flooring is another one. We recommend some sort of plank or hardwood-ish type flooring instead of carpet. They're more hypoallergenic, they wear better. They're a little bit more expensive, but they do tend to show the property just a hair better. Not everybody likes carpet. I like carpet in a bedroom, so call me weird. But I don't like getting on a cold morning and putting my feet down on a cold surface. That's just me because I'm tender and soft-hearted. The other side of that is, what are things to not do? Well, I don't want to embarrass anybody here, okay, but I would not recommend solar panels unless you're paying cash for them. And that's something you are really committed to. Yes, they make your property more valuable only to certain purchasers. Okay. It's not to everybody. Imagine this. You spend 10 grand on a brand new kitchen. Everyone's going to like that. 100%. You spend 10 grand on solar panels, 20% of the population would give a darn about that, if at all. And so, yes, you are potentially putting some value into the property, but it's not overall going to affect the ROI. And the ROI, if you look at it, and return on your investment, okay, you spend $10,000 for solar panels, and now your heating bill is $50 a month when everyone else's is $400 a month. That's pretty close to real math. So it takes you, what, 7, 8, 9 years to recoup that initial $10,000 investment just by the savings you have every month in the utilities. Now, if you're talking a rental property, are you using that as a write-off? I like it. That's cool. I think it could have been done in other places. But if you're trying to attract tenants with solar panels, it doesn't really matter. Tenants don't really look for solar panels as the end-all be-all. That's one of the things I always talk about with owners is, especially end of the year, right? Melanie, we fielded those phone calls before. Hey, Melanie, I got $10,000 I got to spend this year on a rental property. Otherwise, I'm paying Uncle Sam. And so at that point, you say, okay, well, let's look at doing it at certain different things. If we have a tenant in place or we have a vacant home, now's the time to invest that into upgraded water heater, HVAC, master bath or master new appliances in the kitchen. Those are always fantastic ones to look at.
Yeah, piggybacking on your flooring, Brad, we always highly recommend the LVP flooring. That's luxury vinyl plank. It lasts very well, and it just, again, just piggybacking on that, that's what we always prefer, no carpet.
Mm-hmm. So I do have a question here I want to go through, and I think it's a really good question. I have a single family that was recently renovated, and we were planning to sell, but with the current market, we're holding it and reluctant to rent because we're worried about the tenant's risk of wearing it too much. What's your take on this? Well, I always say never kick out a good paying tenant to rent a home or sell a home. Excuse me. I said that terribly. Let me say it again. I always say never kick out a good paying tenant to sell a home. If the tenant is in there and they're paying rent, I would not kick them out to attempt to sell. Now, if they come up on a regular routine lease renewal agreement and they say, we're out, we're moving to, whatever different market, that's a consideration time to sell. It is a tougher market to sell right now. So if you can stomach it, I would say keep it in the rental pool. And this is a real estate agent who sells your homes telling you to keep your home and don't sell it. Okay. No one else is going to give you this advice. Every single realtor you ever talk to in the free world is going to say, yes, it's a great time to sell. Let me list your home for sale today. Right. But I'm telling you that it's a little tougher on the sales side right now. We are in the early spring. We hope to see it uptick in the summer, but at the end of the day, it's going to take a bit for things to settle down. And I say that because we just had a new president come in and a lot of things are changing. I'm not going to get into it's good, bad, or other. I'm just going to say things are changing. And the market has a lot of confidence right now. There's a lot of consumer confidence of good things are coming, good things are here. So one of the factors there is people were sitting on the fence with the interest rates. Are the interest rates going to go up? Interest rates going to go down? They're not going anywhere. Okay. I hate to break it to you guys. Interest rates are there where they are. They might go up a half, they might go down a half. They're not going back to 3%. Those days are long gone. So if you're considering buying, considering selling, don't sit on the sideline and wait because they're not going anywhere. It's just the average of the times. All right, I do want to read one more question. Do you guys have any offers if another second house for rental? I want to lower the management fees for the second one. Absolutely. So what we have is a multiple property owner plan, the MPO plan. If you are a longstanding client, give Myranda a call. We can talk through our MPO plan. We have a very good deal for those. Typically, we do for 4 and above, 4 units and above. However, if you've been a long-term client and Melanie says yes, you got to talk nice to Melanie. We can probably potentially work a deal for you. And we do want those homes to manage. We want to convey that confidence in you that you can trust in what we're doing. So yeah, if you have another home for us, let's take a look at it. We can manage it and cut you a deal at the same time. That should wrap up all our questions at this point. I think this has been a fantastic webinar. We're going to plan on doing one of these at least every other month, about 6 a year. And I think that's going to be a good time to address new questions. So if you have frequently asked questions that you want answered, feel free to email us, info@rentwerx.com. Right, Melanie? info@rentwerx.com. Because you'll never know. I mean, sometimes we change these emails and things go different places. info@rentwerx.com. You can email us any questions. We'll address them on the next webinar or address it directly with you as soon as it gets in. So I appreciate all joining, and we look forward to the next one jumping in. Hope you had a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Brad.